everybody, I'm Jesús Ruiz from Synergic Games, and this is a short tutorial for Rise of Myths Cthulhu. I'll give you a quick grasp of the roguelite aspect of the game. This is not a how-to-play video. I assume that all the basics are already known. First of all, a quick definition. What exactly roguelite means? Well, it's a set of mechanics that make our character in the first games to be totally or almost totally doomed to defeat. However, after each defeat, the character will obtain additional upgrades, which will allow a greater and easier progress towards the final goal, playing a unique setting for each run. During our first run, our character will start with their starter card deck and their class relic, which shows the starting health and sanity values. During true solo games, like the one we're going to showcase, we'll also have additional upgrades depending on whether we choose a starting boost or long path. We're going to use a starting boost for this run. Therefore, we have a random class item, we get the obsidian settings, we increase our maximum and initial health by 2, and we replace 2 starter cards by 2 random common cards. We're going to remove Subjugate and Ushakia's Peace. Now we draw 2 random commons. We get Mandate and Self-Control, which we add to the deck. Let's imagine now that in our first game we have finished 6 encounters so far. Firstly, 3 combats, then an event in which we have received the card Hit the Nail on the Head, and then 2 other combats. In the first of them, encounter 5, we already used the event card. This has allowed us to gain 5 coins and 4 progress points. Now we are in the 7th encounter, to which we have arrived with just a slim of health and pretty low sanity as well, 3 health and 6 sanity. The possessed have a pretty bad time along the way. According to the setup card, for encounter 7, we must face a common and a superior enemy. We have drawn from the corresponding enemy decks, and we will face the mutated worm and the censor. We draw a hand of 6 cards, and we see that there's no way we can avoid defeat this time. As stated in the rulebook, progress points are used in the game to reach certain milestones, something similar to the checkpoints in video games. With 6, we could take a break to recover a certain amount of health and sanity, and with 9, we could place on the map the card of the final enemy and decide whether to face him or rush a little more and try to improve our chances during that game. In this example, this was not the case. The 5 coins have been wasted because we have not stopped by any store, but the progress points do have a great utility beyond being used within the same run, and it's at this point when we really enter the roguelite part. Once we are defeated, as we have been, we will write down the points we have obtained in the corresponding character track, and we will have them at our disposal to exchange for upgrades when starting the next run. With these 4 points, for example, we could start with an upgrade that would increase 1 point our maximum and initial health, and we could also add a common card to be chosen among 3 that we will reveal from the Her Common Cards deck. You can already see that the situation improves and we are better prepared for our next round. And so we would go further and further, getting more progress points, with them more upgrades, until we reach the maximum of 25 points per character. On average, depending obviously on luck, skills and strategies, it takes about 4 attempts per character to reach the maximum 25 points. Upgrades do not need to be the same from one run to another. Our progress points are noted, and we can redeem them before starting each new run for the upgrades we think will suit best our playstyle. Remember that after each run, our health, sanity and deck is reset, and from this starting point we apply the upgrades. If that same encounter that you have seen before had happened with all the upgrades, not only would we have arrived in a much better shape, but we would almost certainly overcome not only that encounter, but the remaining ones necessary to face the last great obstacle of this location, the Dunwich Horror, and even with a good chance of defeating it, in this case, sealing it definitively to be able to return it to its dimensional plane. And remember that defeating the Riddle 1 at the end of a location is not the end of the game, as not only the rulebook includes many additional difficulty settings, but thanks to the crowdfunding campaign we made available a nightmare mode that you can face with unique rewards. and also an additional mode that will allow for extended gameplay after you finish your first location. With hundreds of unique enemies, location settings, and events, the options are almost limitless. And here's the overview of how the roguelite system works in Rise of Cthulhu. Hope I have cleared up any doubts you may have about it. In any case, if you have any other question about this topic, please leave it in the comments and we'll be happy to solve it. As always, thank you very much to all of you and see you in the abyss.